Hey, what's going on, Cashflow hackers? It's Chris, Life 180. I got my buddy Caleb here.
It's good to be back, man.
Good to be back. Good to have you here. It is a Saturday night and 9:30 at night here local time. Caleb just flew in today. I'm literally in the process of selling everything I own. The last thing to come down is the studio here. So Caleb flew in today and he's like, "Hey, why don't we just film?" And I'm like, "Hey, why don't we just film?" And so
the camera's gonna be on us. We're not gonna show what's to the right or what's to the left. Right. I love the transition.
It's chaos all around us, I promise. So I thought we just decided to hop in the studio here. We're gonna talk about a couple topics today. In this video, I think what we both just thought would be really valuable is to talk about our perspective on the current state of, I'm going to say, not just the life insurance industry, but like life insurance on social media. How about that?
Yeah, that's good.
Right? Because the challenge, I did a video, I don't know, it was like 3-4 weeks ago, talking about stop marketing and educate, right? Like Let's stop marketing to people, focus on educating people. And I think the challenge with that is, like, if you don't know anything about life insurance and you're just kind of being exposed to this world of cash value life insurance or IUL and infinite banking and infinite banking with IUL and like all these things that are out there,
MPI,
right? Like MPI and like all the FFL garbage and you know, all the stuff, the power of zero, like all the ideas, right? Like all the sales things, the LERPs and the there's so much out there. And it's like, I think it's hard because people are getting to the place where they're like, we don't know who to believe, you know, and they like, listen, the beautiful part about YouTube is people are always seeking out, you know, and they're calling you, they're calling me, our companies, they're calling other companies. And so, I mean, I talk to, and I know people on my team talk to people every single day that have, like, you know, we're the third company they've talked to, all from YouTube, right? Like, and which, amazing. Like, I think that's phenomenal, right? Like, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's an amazing thing because I think I don't think anybody should put their money into anything they don't understand. And I think you should always work with people that share your values and beliefs and really align with who you are, what you're looking to accomplish, and kind of how you want to grow in this world, right? Like, I mean, that's what it's all about. And so, like, you need to make sure that this is when you buy a life insurance contract, it's a long-term thing.
It actually begins when you buy the contract. And unfortunately, this is not anything new, but a lot of times people just drop the ball. It's like, we made the sale, good luck. And it's like, no, especially with what we teach, life insurance is a foundational long-term asset. 20 years from now, what does this look like?
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, that's 100% accurate. And so there's a lot of things going on. I constantly, I probably watch more content than you do because I you know, I don't watch it, I'll say this, I listen to it. So when I drive a lot, I drive my kids to school, I drive home from school, and I got probably an hour and a half a day in the car, like doing the rounds with my kids. And so I always have like a YouTube video on for somebody in the business, some way, shape, or form, that's always on in the background, and I'm listening to it. And I constantly am like scratching my head, like, what the hell did he just say? Like, did that really, or, you know, did that really just happen? Like, is a professional really like positioning life insurance in that way? And it's amazing that it doesn't need to be that far off to be dangerous.
I know.
You know? So, you know, it's hard for me, and I'd love to hear your take before I go way deep, because you know me, I'll go on a rant. I'd love to hear your take on, like, what do you see, especially like the short form content, right? Because I think that's where the biggest danger is. Like, a lot of these people have built their followings, especially the IUL people, right? But I'll even say some of the infinite banking stuff, right? Like, it's when you're talking about trying to get this 60-second hype clips about this stuff, it's in my opinion, it's really it's borderline dangerous.
Here's what I'll say is number one, I don't watch nearly as much content as you. So I want to just acknowledge that I don't think I've had TikTok for over a year. And so it's like, on one hand, I love like getting some like the funny addictive videos. On another, that's exactly why I don't have it. I'll say, I wrote the book, The And Asset, and I cringe when I look at that book, because I think it's great. You should read it. Please let me know if you have. And I think it does accomplish good things. But when I wrote that, it was 5 years ago, I was definitely like afraid to talk about life insurance. I wanted to like overemphasize certain things. I was doing the same thing that I'm probably going to criticize. And so I just want to be very upfront. Like 5 years ago, I was self-conscious of things. Like I felt like I really needed to sell you on the concept of life insurance being an and asset. We didn't even call it life insurance. We called it the master account because there's this negative connotation. And so I say all that to say, like, I cringe at some of the things that I wrote 5 years ago because I would have done it a lot different. My style today is like, hey, listen, this is not going to change your marriage. This is not going to change your life. I really do believe that. I believe it's an amazing foundation. I believe it's a great step. If I'm telling you a financial product's going to change your life, how lame of a person am I? Like your mind, like, and we were talking before we hit record, like the more, and it's like, I feel like an old soul, but like, I'm realizing like what changes your life is how you live, your values, and like making a stand. And like, yes, is life insurance a huge piece of that? Yes, that's why we're continuing to grow. That's why I'm like more excited about whole life insurance than I've ever been. Yeah. Not because I think it's going to be like this amazing wand that will change everything, but it's a step in the right direction, and it allows you, and it aligns with you being able to show up powerfully in all these other areas. And so the problem I have with just a lot of these marketing clips, TikToks, YouTube videos, these books, is like we're elevating the product to be the solution. And I'm like very against that. With whole life, I'm against that with IUL. And again, IUL, if you're just gonna sell a product and make it sizzle and sound good, IUL is way better than whole life because you can emphasize it to be so much quote unquote better. And if you follow Chris, like you know that there's so many smoke and mirrors, and it's way easier to be be with IUL than whole life.
I was gonna say it's really dangerous to even go there with me.
Yeah. It's like I can see he's gonna wind up. Like, but the point I'm making is like I just like it's just such a turn off. And so what I get frustrated by is lack of truth. When people take an emphasis on like MPI, take an emphasis on being your own banker, taking an emphasis on like I'll even throw like the and asset, or I have a term called controlled compounding. These are all great things. I have a problem when we elevate that and sell you on the sizzle, when it's like, okay, I get it, but like how is this actually changing my life?
Right.
How is it helping me being more secure, more protective? How I want to understand how this works. And like 5 years ago, we did the best we could, and sometimes I cringe at some of the things that we told our client. Like we're always getting better, and I think it's
part of your growth process.
We just need to have humility in saying like we need to change certain things. So yeah, that's essentially what I'll say from a standpoint of like I get really turned off when people point to a financial product. Yeah. And the more passionate I get about life insurance, the more I realize like, man, it sickens me when people are pitching life insurance. It's like makes me want to be Dave Ramsey, to be like, don't buy life insurance. Because I really do believe unless you're going to work with a very select few people, like I see whole life policies that make me want to throw up.
Oh yeah.
And it's so it's like I don't even want to be the whole life guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
But I'm also a huge fan of life insurance. I'm a huge fan of whole life. You know,
when used properly in the right situations with the right individual as part of the right plan as a whole, I think that's the thing as I see it is it's and this year for me like as you have gone through a lot of growth and your messaging has changed based on your own experiences that you've had with clients and just growing up, right? Totally. Like, I mean, that's just what happens, right? Yeah. And that's the same with me. It's the same. Hopefully it's the same for everybody that goes through this business, and the longer you're around, the more you're always going to look back for every agent out there. And so like, if you're a client looking back at an agent, like this isn't something to like be ridiculing, and be just don't blow this out of proportion, right?
Yeah. And I have another thing.
Go ahead, please. Okay. Yeah.
This is actually what has gotten me to shift. Early on, anyone that has bought life insurance from us off of the concept of being your own banker, all this stuff, it's all good. But what I've realized is if they don't understand the value of life insurance as a part of their life, if they don't understand the benefits, if they don't understand how that product works without the sizzle,
yeah,
that's where I'm feeling frustrated. That's when I'm like, I feel like I have to resell the whole story again. Whereas I'm like, okay, the concepts are good, but like, let's, without the quote unquote bundling it up, do we understand that life insurance itself, when set up and used properly in your financial scenario, do you understand how this is so amazing for you, not just now, not just 10 years from now, but 50 years from now with your family? And like that, it has been so much fun the last couple of years as we shifted. Like we still, again, have concepts. I love concepts, but it's like, it's so important to me that every single person that gets a life insurance contract understands what the value of that life insurance contract without the sizzle.
So I want to ask you this.
I just opened up a massive can of worms.
Yeah, big well, yeah, and it's actually, it's perfect because it's like kind of what I was thinking about before you went there. So an interesting thing that I deal with all the time, and I know you deal with it too, even though we've never had this conversation, is it's way easier to sell a person who wants to put $500,000 up front into a policy and $200,000 a year into a policy than it is to sell somebody that wants to do $10,000 up front and $6,000 a year.
Yep.
Because the person at the $500,000, $200,000 level already understands money. They've already grown. They've already done the work to get to a place where everybody's greatest need is more cash flow, is more creation, is to invest in themselves. And if you've gotten to the point where you have $500K and $200K a year that you can put into life insurance, you're doing some things right, you know, and you understand the dynamics of what you need money to be as a tool in your life in different ways. And you're thinking not just about this year, but you're thinking generationally probably. And now all of a sudden the value of life insurance
is elevated.
It clicks, right? And it makes sense. And so the challenge is, the thing I love about what we do is that the principles never change.
Right.
And they are absolute. And the thing that bugs me is when people go, oh, whole life is great for wealthy people, but it sucks for middle class. Okay? Now, I'll say this, whole life is not right for everybody. And I know you and I agree on this wholeheartedly, is that I think whole life is wildly oversold. And I'm so in on that. We just built our a custom term pipeline.
Nice.
With iPipeline and all that. We had a whole custom term for our agents built because of the fact that like
term insurance is awesome.
Convertible term insurance, living benefits term insurance, cheap term insurance. So I basically look at it as like there's three types of term. And what's interesting, I had a guy call me actually just yesterday and I was talking to him and he's like, man, I was talking to somebody and they were just telling me life insurance doesn't matter, right? I'm doing this for the banking function of my life, right? The life insurance doesn't matter. We get you the least amount of life insurance possible. And I'm like, well, how much life insurance do you have right now? He's like, well, none. And I go, well, what do you do? I'm a pastor. Okay, that's interesting. You know, are you married? I am. Do you have kids? I do. How many kids do you have? I have 2. Would you like life insurance? Yeah, of course I would. Like, how much would you want if the insurance would give you an unlimited amount? How much would you want? You know, like what's and so it's just it comes from the perspective of, all right, instead of trying to jam as much money into whole life as possible, let's stop going there and let's focus on cash flow. And let's focus on, you know, the ability to create cash flow. And then look at that. And then I'm a big believer, before putting any money into whole life, we need to maximize our human life value first. We need to buy the most amount of insurance, you know, buy your net worth, buy your future net worth. Like if you're going to qualify for $2 million, buy $2 million a term or at least see, like, if I were to buy $2 million worth of term, how much of my free and clear cash flow would that eat up? Lock that in, and then you can save in whole life above and beyond that, or like fill the gap in.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
So I'm going to plug Naked Numbers. It's a segment on my on our.
It's okay. You plug away.
Yeah. Okay. Plug.
Go ahead.
BetterWealth.com.
Shameless plug. Here we go.
We have a segment called Naked Numbers, and anyone can apply, and like it's fun. I get to see like you literally financially strip down and say like this is where you are with cash flow and assets and all that stuff. What was fun is I was talking about human life value with somebody, and it was interesting because it's like your home. You will insure your home. You'll insure your car. You'll insure other things. And so I'm like, okay, I realized like let's get less emotional about your life. Let's just look at your life as a cash flow producing asset. Some of you are better at creating cash flow than others, but like unemotionally, Chris, like for the next, you're a bad example. Like if I take somebody who's working at a W-2 job for the next 30 years, like they're going to, that asset, them as a unit is going to spit out $2 to $3 million. And then when you look at compound interest, maybe they'll produce $5 million over their lifetime. Unemotionally, it's like, okay, if we had a home that did that, if we had a car that did that, if we had something else and we had the opportunity to insure something, wouldn't we want to? Like, wouldn't you want to insure, like, you know what I'm saying? And so
I get what you're saying.
It was one of those things where I was able to like flesh that out, and it clicked. Instead of saying like, it made them shift from like life insurance being expense to being like, oh, like this should be part of the financial strategy. Very much to what you're saying is like, we need to value cash flow, but I even take a step back and say, what is your financial model? What do you truly want? And like, let's start from there. And then let's figure out, does life insurance, investments, like all these other things but it's like, I have a problem with people that just go like, this is the one thing that you should do. And it's like, dude, like you're selling life insurance over here, but like you're not even insuring or protecting their family.
It's what I always say, you got to align your money with your values and beliefs.
100%.
And so the problem is most people don't even know what that means. Most people don't even know what they value. They don't know what they believe. They've never really been intentional about thinking about what that looks like. And so, I know we both walk our clients through that, right? Like, and I think that's extremely important. And because think about it this way, I'm a big believer. People make decisions with emotion, and then we validate our decisions with logic, right? So, like the decisions have to make sense logically, and so what you just described, though, is a very logic-driven process, right? And so, I would say like that process. All right, logically it makes sense, but I would even go the next step further, and maybe like, and I get not every agent has the guts to talk to people this way, but Caleb will tell you, I just kind of call it as I see it. And when I literally had a conversation with somebody yesterday, I was like, listen, I don't, you do you, right? I was like, you
question if they love their family.
Not even that, but I was just like, whether like, and I wouldn't say it that way, but what I said, but I would say it that way. But here's the deal. Like, I look at it like this and I go, here's, I know, and what I do when I'm on the phone with people, because, and I don't do this as a sales pitch, by the way. This is, I believe this in my core of cores, right? Like, I look at it and I go, okay, I know my life, right? And I know what I want to accomplish. I've been intentional about it, right? Like, and I know what I want my kids to have for a life. I know what I want my wife to have for a life. And I know that I want to have my money in alignment with accomplishing that life. Whether I live a long, healthy, happy, fruitful, productive life, then I'm going to be able to actualize it. I'll be able to experience it, right? But if I don't, like, what would happen tomorrow if I died? What would happen next year if I died and I wasn't able to see everything through? Does that change the fact that I want my kids and my wife to have all that? I hope not, right? And so when you really start to like break this down and visualize like what you want to accomplish, what you want to actualize, that's where like getting a term policy just to lock in that. And I love so what I've started to do is say, all right, not only one term policy, I've gotten to the point where we're almost doing 3 policies for people. A convertible term policy, a living benefits term policy, and then a whole life policy.
There you go.
Right? And you split it up because of the fact that, the convertible term locks in their insurable ability, and then you can convert that to a banking style or like whatever you want to call it, policy, banking alternative policy, a savings policy. And then the living benefits policy, you're going to have, if you become chronically or terminally ill, you're going to have access to maintain control of your medical directive. It's like, it's amazing. The problem is most of the companies that offer the living benefits terms are IUL companies. And so they convert to really garbage products. So you got to kind of like pick and choose, right?
But you're saying like you're looking at a portfolio of life insurance.
Exactly. These life insurance companies do amazing things to help you create, I call it a self-completing plan. You know what I mean? Like we want to be able to like do what we're doing and build our legacies and build our businesses and create more value and like create this life for our family and build opportunity for our kids and all this stuff. Well, you will soon enough, right? But like it's like we're not in control when we get called from this earth, right? Like, and when, like, whatever. And so if that happens, a self-completing plan says, if I have this portfolio of life insurance, it's going to help me in every stage of life, no matter where I am. And as I grow my cash flow, that's why I love the phrase, buy your net worth, build your cash flow, right? We can buy, like when you go, like, and this is how I explain human life value to people now, because it kind of is like nerdy, like well, your future value of like your potential income. It's just, I look at it like this, is like, it's your future net worth is your human life value. Because if you, the life insurance company, I'll break it down really simply. They look at you, they'll look at Caleb, they'll look at me, they'll look at you, and they'll say, all right, here's where you are, here are your debts, here's your assets, here's your incomes. This is, if nothing changed from this point forward and you were just a good steward with your money, here's your potential future net worth. That's it. Like so I ask anybody here, if you had a chance to lock in from a generational legacy perspective, to lock in the fact that we're working towards a goal, right? And you have the ability right now to guarantee that goal's accomplishment. Who says no to that? If you say no to that, don't call me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's my conversation with people. Because like, but if you want that, you need to stop listening to certain people. Stop listening to the Dave Ramseys and Susie Ormans, but also stop listening to some of the people that say, you know what? Whole life insurance is about taking over the banking function in your life, and the life insurance doesn't matter. Sorry, like, you know, I mean, I don't know.
We should just stop. Like making, I'm not going to add anything to what you said, because you said it in a nice way, and I think it's, another way to say that is reverse engineer what you truly want. But like, I can't, or Chris can't tell you that. Right. You have to be the one that says, this is what my life wants to stand for, what's the best way to accomplish this, and what you are saying is, like, if you know what you want your life to stand for, and it's always a journey. But it's like, you know that, like, there is actually a financial product that can ensure that that can happen, regardless if you actually live that out.
Right.
That's what's really powerful. And what we're saying is that could be a portfolio of whole life, term insurance with the IUL company.
No, I know.
Chris is exposed. No, I think but you're unemotional about it, because it's like, hey, every contract has a result and whatnot, and at the end of the day, we agree that like, it's not a cookie cutter, this one company is the thing that's going to change. Like, it's how do we be unemotional and take your input and help you best align with where you truly want to go. No, I think that's everything. And you know, I truly believe that you can't have a well-designed, as much as we don't want the product to be the hero, right? Like, the product is a foundational asset that I do believe if you have it, it gives you the empowerment and like a backstop, we'll say, to help you show up more powerfully in the world and maybe have more confidence, not because of the asset, simply based on the fact that you've set your financial structure up properly. I agree.
Right? And so if you build your financial foundation properly, then whole life insurance and term insurance are part of that, right? And when you do that, it's not about the whole life in term or whatever. It's about the overall structure of your world and what you're building and how you're building and the timing and everything and who you become in that process and the growth and the journey of that process. And that's, I think that's what I love about what we do with people. Love it. You know? So anyway.
I also just want to say thank you. Like, both Chris and I live an incredible life, and it's very much thanks to you on YouTube. And so it's really cool that we can like talk about life insurance at 10 p.m. at night on a Saturday. Like, it's how true. Crazy and weird
after packing all day.
Yeah, but it's like, it is true. Like, it's amazing that we're talking and there's more than one person that's actually going to be listening. And for those of you that are in this space, like keep going. Like, there's millions of people that are underprotected, underinsured, need more control, And we have a really cool opportunity to help lots of people. And so thank you for the work that you do. You and I have different styles, and I think I'm becoming more like you every day.
Well, you're getting older.
Yeah, and it's like, so I care less about what people think.
Hey,
but it's true, man. Like it's good. It's a fun journey, and we're really grateful for all of you on the journey with us.
Well, I'm stoked you're in town, so we can do this. That's awesome. So, all right, guys. Well, hopefully you found value in that. If you did, like it, share it, get it out there, all the things. Subscribe, hit the bell, that way you're notified. I'm also going to put this guy's, if you haven't seen him already, I'll put his information down in the link in the description below. Go over, follow Better Wealth, and also go follow the And Asset channel, which is their other channel. And I just encourage just to keep the journey going. Whether you're an agent, I'll double his sentiment. Like, just keep going. I have 3 agents on the team this week that published their first YouTube video.
Let's go.
Right. So and that's like a big push for me, is to get like more people creating, because there's so much bad information. We need more people creating good educational content, and so
people resonate with different messages.
Yeah, totally.
And that should be celebrated.
100%. And that's what I always tell. I'm like, if you don't align with me, call this guy. If, whatever.
If you have $1 million premium and you don't align with him, please call me.
So that's it. So, all right, guys, until next video, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll talk soon. See you.